Buenos días, mi gente. Good morning, and welcome to La Hora del Cafecito, a program dedicated to all those in our community who are living with autism, to all their family members, and to all those who support them. My name is Lourdes Quiñones, and I would like to welcome you to La Hora del Cafecito and to our table. So please sign in on the comment section and let us know if you're drinking a coffee with us this morning. We'd love to say hello to you. Bueno, today's program, we're very proud to welcome Jessica Cruz, a representative from the Early Childhood Council, who will be sharing important information about the Early Childhood Developmental Screening Program and related information. So you can't miss it. Welcome, Jessica. Bienvenida a la hora del cafecito. Okay, before we get started, I would like to introduce to you our cafecito hostesses. As I said before, my name is Lourdes Quiñones, and I am a card consultant assigned to the primary age group. Professionally, I'm also a pediatric physical therapist, as well as a special education teacher. Jasmine Castellano is an excellent professional in the field of mental health, is a card consultant assigned to the middle and high school age groups, and is the mother of 3, one of whom is diagnosed with autism. Welcome, Jasmine.
Thank you, Lourdes, and welcome to everyone. And Jessica, welcome.
Olivia McDonald is an excellent professional in the field of public health. Is a card consultant assigned to the primary age group, just like me. And she has a younger brother diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. Así que welcome, Olivia.
Thank you, Lourdes. Good morning.
Miguel Dana is an excellent special education teacher, is a newly elected chair in CARD's constituency board, and is the mother of 3 children, 2 of whom are diagnosed with autism. Welcome, Maggie.
Good morning.
Our newest team member, Ima Camposano, is completing her master's in social work and has chosen to do her internship at CARD, as she is committed to serving those living with autism in our community. So Ima is a native of New York, but has ties to Florida and has, where she married and is raising her 2 children for several years now, 9 and 7, right? So welcome to our Cafecito team, Ima.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. But before we get started, let's review the rules by which we want to adhere throughout this program in order to maintain a safe environment for all of us. We ask that you please keep an open mind, a positive attitude, and a respectful language. So Jasmine, do we have anybody to say hello to? Let's welcome our guests.
Yes, we have, let me see. We have Anna here, and we also have Janet.
All right, welcome Janet and Anna. Thank you for being here. Be sure to stay tuned. We have a lot of information to be sharing with you. So let's get started. Jessica, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Jessica Cruz. I'm a family support coordinator with Early Childhood Council. I've been with the agency for almost 8 years, and I have 3 beautiful children, 22, 18, and 11. And I have a bachelor's of science degree in human services.
Awesome. Thank you.
Welcome.
Can you talk to us a little bit about the Early Childhood Council?
Yes. So at the Early Childhood Council, we provide services to all children in Hillsborough County, birth to 5, with any developmental delay, including but not limited to autism. The ECC was established in 1983 with the purposes of helping families with children who are in need of a developmental screening to determine if the child with one of our partnering agencies, USF Early Steps from birth to age 3, or Child Find Fiddlers for those kiddos that are 3 years of age, or sorry, 3 to 5 years of age. And there's no real wait time for our screening services. We also provide all of our families with supportive case management services to assist in meeting all of their needs.
Awesome. So I just wanted to say something. You went out of audio for a second. So I just wanted to let people know that the developmental screening, the purpose of it is to determine if the child needs more formal evaluation, with
Correct.
other partnering agency. That's exactly the point at which you went out of the air. So just wanted to clarify that. So this is important information. That's why I want to make sure that everyone receives that information. Thank you for sharing that, Jessica.
Good
Mike?
morning, Jessica.
Hi,
Can you
good
please-
morning.
Can you please tell us what parents need to do in order to register their children for developmental screening?
Yes, so the first step is for the parent or caregiver to complete pre-screening forms, which include our ECC demographic forms, our ages and stages developmental questionnaire or ASQs, and the ASQ questionnaire for social emotional if there are social emotional concerns.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Jessica. What happens after they fill out the pre-screening forms? Can parents expect to receive a diagnosis of autism after they complete the screening?
So once a virtual screening is complete with one of our team members, reviewed by our ECC developmental screening program manager and child find fiddler supervisor, which is Maggie Dean, to determine if or to USF early steps for a full developmental evaluation. An ECC family support coordinator or FSC is assigned to each family and at this point now functions as the parent's primary contact. The FSC discusses and makes referrals for the child or family needs that were identified through screening to our partnering agencies. These referrals include, but are not limited to, articulation, vision, hearing, nutrition, in-home support, parent education and resources, social, emotional, and behavioral support, and in inclusion support programs. Once a virtual screening is complete with one of our team members, all forms are reviewed by our ECC developmental screening program. Which is Maggie Dean, and if the child's referred, I'm sorry, to determine whether child will be referred to Fiddlers, USF steps for a full developmental evaluation. So at this point, and then so with autism, unfortunately, we're not able to diagnose autism. That would need to come from a certified or a specialist.
Okay.
So made by a certified medical practitioner.
I'm going to interject a little bit because we did go in and out. So what happens is at the screenings, after the screenings, the forms are filled out and someone reviews their results, then the determination is made as to whether or not the child would need to be referred to another agency. For example, Fiddlers, which is the child find program, and we're going to be interviewing them next week. That's your partner organization with whom you complete all this assessments. So if that's the case, and the child is already past the early steps program age, which is 0 to 3, then the child would move on to an assessment to determine if they're going to need further services through the school system. And not all children will need it. Some children are going to get a clean bill of health, so to speak, in saying you can go and continue as you are. But if they get into like, you know what, this student or this child needs extra assistance, then they will be referred. And no determination is made other than this child needs extra eyes on them, find out if they're developing right. Okay, so it's not a reason to be afraid or anything like that. It's just making sure we're good to go, right?
Correct. Yeah. And then some of the referrals that include, but are not limited to, is articulation, vision, hearing, nutrition, in-home support, parent educational resources, and so behavior support and our inclusion support programs as well. So if there's any concerns at the child's preschool, there is an inclusion specialist that could go in and assist with that as well.
Exactly. So it's worthy to have those screenings done instead of doing that, waiting period.
Wait and see.
Yeah.
Correct.
And that is so helpful. How can parents know when screenings are occurring? Is there a process or a calendar that they can follow or access? And a follow-up question, are the screenings held in the same location?
So parents and caregivers are able to register by calling our intake number, or they may access our website at www.ecctampabay.org and begin the screening process there. Once the ASQ forms are complete, which is the Ages and Stages Developmental Questionnaire, and have been received, will contact the parent or caregiver to complete the demographic form and schedule their child for a screening. If the child has a previous or eligible, reports will be requested to submit for review. This may allow the child to bypass the screening process and be directly referred to Child Find Fiddler. Parents and caregivers also and providers can also access our program information through our developmental screening flyers been shared with you today. This flyer provides information and direct access to our ASQ3 and ASQ-SC, which is the Ages and Stages Developmental Questionnaire, and Ages and Stages ASQ Social Emotional, and can be shared with all families and agencies electronically.
Okay, that's really helpful. Thank you.
Well, I want to remind to all our viewers that are watching us just to leave us your comments and questions. We will be monitoring them to ensure that we are responding to your comments and all the questions. If you have any question to ask Jessica about the services provided by the Early Childhood Council, please let us know and ask your questions in the comment section, and we will do our best to answer your questions while we are on the air, or if not, we will answer your questions once we come off the air.
And Jessica, can you tell us what is the age group that you serve, and is it a requirement that the child or family have to be a citizen of the U.S.?
So ECC, we screen and provide services to any child in Hillsborough County, birth to age 5, whether the child is documented or not.
Okay, thank you.
Because we know that in our population that we have a lot of families who may have a concern if their migratory status is not completed. We just want to make sure that people understand that the privacy of their records will remain that private. It's not shared with any other agency. So they kind of calm down some of those nerves and say, please go ahead and seek services for your children. That's more important.
And also, like with my family, when we moved to the US, I mean, we were here on a visa and everything like that, but we weren't US citizens. So we've definitely needed services, early intervention services for my brother. So that's good to know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jessica, is there a cost involved for your services?
There are no costs for the services.
Awesome.
And a follow-up question, what would you say to parents of children that are following the let's wait and see if he or she catches up?
Medical research we have seen and would like to share, reliable diagnosis of autism has been documented through infancy and toddlerhood, and evidence suggests that the earlier the onset of intervention, the greater likelihood of an improved developmental trajectory. It is also argued that early intervention is more cost and time efficient than a wait and see approach. Early identification and intervention is most important for children with autism, as it builds a strong foundation for the child and provides the family with information regarding what services the child may require in order milestones.
Do you
I did want to just
excuse me, do you think you could talk a little bit about how you're providing services in this time of COVID? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's like, I think you cut out a little bit, Jessica. So you're saying that it's important, for early intervention, because it builds the foundation for them in order to meet their developmental milestones. Is that
Correct.
okay? Yeah, I'm really glad you say that. And I shared last week in our episode, it was in Spanish, so maybe some of people watching aren't going to be able to understand. But I talked about the early signs of autism, and just like you said, there are definitely early signs as early as 4 months. And the thing that always amazes me is when we're looking at those studies is, if you can get early intervention by 18 to 20 months, the chance of being in a regular kindergarten is like 80%. Even if you do it around 3, it's like 50%. But if you do wait till 5, then it's only like that 10%. And so you can just see just how important, like, sooner the better.
Yes.
Yeah, great point to bring in. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Ima?
Yeah, I was just wondering how, in this time of COVID, how you guys are providing services.
So when COVID, unfortunately, forced our monthly face-to-face developmental site screenings, we developed our virtual screening model. The ECC team, all team members collaborated with Child Find Fiddlers to ensure that our virtual screening process was as comprehensive and accessible to as our face-to-face site screenings. ECC has been utilizing this virtual screening model since May of 2020 with an eligibility success rate of 93%, the same as with our face-to-face screening. Our screenings continue to assess vision, hearing, nutrition, overall development, and social emotional concerns.
You cut out at speech and language. So that's an important one. So I want to make sure that.
So
Yeah.
after speech and language is overall development and social emotional concerns.
Yes, yes. So it's a general assessment so that we can all get that idea. It's like you're developing typically in this area, no concern, move on. If not, let's refer. That's very important to just kind of take your child in for a general checkup with experts that are honing in on those developmental milestones. So awesome.
And it's also because, if there's maybe some delay in one area, it could be as a result of another. Obviously, if you can't hear, that might impact your speech and language. So do you anticipate returning to the previous face-to-face model once we're cleared, and things we're back to more face-to-face interactions and with the community with COVID?
Well, ECC as an agency and with the guidance from the Children's Board of Hillsborough County and our Child Find Fiddlers partner, we make the decision to return to our face-to-face developmental site screening model as soon as it is determined to be safe for all children, families, volunteers, and staff.
Okay.
So hopefully soon.
Yeah, I think we're all like crossing our fingers.
We are all on the same boat waiting.
Yeah.
So Jessica, do you have anything else that you want to share with us?
All of our ECC developmental screening information is accessible on our website at www.ecctampabay.org.
Awesome. And all this information we're going to be uploading at the end of the show so that you can access this information. So that's awesome. Jasmine, do we have any questions? Anybody that we need to say hello to?
No, we don't have any questions at the moment, and nobody else that is new that we haven't said hi before.
Okay, perfect. So I just want to make sure that if you're watching this after we go off the air and you have questions, be sure to leave them in the comment section, and we'll go back and we'll check on that and try to answer you at the bottom of the commentaries and or through another show. If we have to do a new episode, remember that if we take your ideas to make an episode, we'll be sure to give you credit for that, okay? But we're almost at the end of the show. Didn't want to leave without, first of all, thanking our guest, Jessica Cruz. Thank you so much for taking time to be here today.
For having me.
Thank you for sharing all this important information about the ECC's wonderful work in our community that is so needed, and we really want to make sure that they're around for a long time to continue providing these services. So thank you so much. We also want to let you know that next week we're going to be talking to a representative from the Florida Diagnostic and Learning Resources System, FIDLERS, or Child Find Program. And this person will be sharing with us important information, Claudia, about their services and programs, just like Jessica did today. So thank you. You can't miss it. So we hope to see you in our Spanish side mostly, and hopefully also on our English side. We're going to find a time to do it, maybe not next week, but the following one. So we'll let you know about that, okay? So finally, I want to ask you for a little favor, and that's if you can please go to the link that we're going to be posting on the comment section regarding the quality of this presentation. The link will take you to a survey with 6 easy questions, very rating kind of our services and what we have been able to bring to you today. It takes less than a minute to fill out, so please take a moment to go rate us. This is the way that we can justify the time that it takes us to produce this kind of programming, and also the time that it takes us to be in the air with you. So we thank you ahead of time for taking the time to fill out our survey. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anyway, before we go, we want to make sure that we ask that you give us a like, that you share our page with friends and family members that you know could benefit from all the important information that CARD brings to your home, and also that you meet us next week for the FIDLERS program show. So be sure to leave us your questions before we go. Ready? So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you to the team, Cafecito team. As always, a great job. And we want to wish you a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.